Hello, and welcome to the very first monthly update. Now, of course, these used to be weekly, but I'm lazy, and so I'd less often I have to do something, the better. It doesn't mean that it's going to be longer, of course, because more has happened in a month than happens in a week. And, of course, this week has been a pretty active month, both in the world and personally. So, although good things have happened to me, bad things have happened to the world. But that's to be expected. But yeah, so this one is going to be a longer. And also, I've added a thing. Usually, I would only be doing talking about stuff that's happened politically and looking at the news and stuff. I'd normally only look at the BBC, but I'm also going to be looking at CNN because they're just as stupid as the BBC, but they're the American version, which means they're probably actually even more stupid. So that's going to be very fun. But it starts off exactly the same, the monthly update. So what have I done over this month? Well, I has done a load of paintings because I've just started to get back into painting. I've done quite a few, and I'm going to show you the ones that I've uploaded publicly. Other ones are finished, but aren't going to be seen, and some aren't finished yet, and so I can't show you them. But all the ones that I've uploaded publicly. So let me just open up my DeviantArt. Yes, I know DeviantArt is full of very disturbed individuals. And although I am one of them, I don't do the kind of things they do when it comes to art. I don't draw cartoon characters doing depraved things to one another. I draw abstract. Well, I don't draw anything, actually. I draw. Let me just transform that. Flip horizontally and put me up in the top corner. There we are. This is what I do. So I'll just go through all the paintings I've got here, and you can see them. So this one is number 12. I actually painted this one on camera. So there's a video on the channel. I think it's actually the most recent video in which I paint it. I like it. It's rather minimal. It's kind of a combination of minimalism and abstract expressionism. Hello, Yaghishtaghi Vunrent. I don't know what that means, but you're welcome anyway. This is a painting I've done, and I'm talking about it. So it's kind of it's abstract expressionism, but it's boiled down to its very basic elements. It's just a plain background with a couple of brush strokes and then some tiny little details in the white. So it's very. It could also sort of be the Northern Lights, really, couldn't it? If these are stars and these are the big, but that was not intentional. So that's number 12, painted on the 4th of February. Next painting. This isn't a painting. This is a thing I did because I like going through. Because whenever anyone uploads a video about abstract art, if it's a bigger channel, you'll always find comments like this that simply don't get it. And I find it. I used to get really annoyed by comments like this, but recently I've realised how funny it is because they always talk about how abstract art doesn't make sense because it's not actually picturing anything. But then I realised that's what figurative painting is as well. All figurative painting is paint on a canvas. It's not actually that thing. If you paint a tree, it's not a tree. It's just paint. It's just you've decided to put that paint in the shape of a tree, and people like me and other abstract artists prefer to put the paint in, just in different shapes, really. And so stuff like this, now that I've grown up a bit, just makes me laugh rather than offending me. So this is just part 1. I do intend to create more of these, but these are just YouTube comments about... I just think it's funny. So next to actual painting, this one is red, green and blue on white. This is the 19th of February. Again, kind of a combination of minimalism and expressionism, because you've got all these very visible brush strokes and drips and stuff, but then, you know, really it's just these 3 shapes on a white background. It's just there's a lot of texture going on and a lot of, you know, stuff there. So that's that one. Next painting is Gardens in a Storm, which is done on the 20th of February. This one is... it was very watered down. I sprayed the canvas with water, and then I used very watered down paint and just spread them around with a... I don't think I actually used a brush at all for this. I think it was all done with a palette knife. I really like this one. It looks... Looking at the picture here, it looks like it was done on paper, but it was done on a canvas. It just... because you can see these scratchy bits around here underneath the orange and underneath the green there. So you can see it was done on a canvas. It just... I don't know why, it just looks paperish. Title, Gardens in a Storm, is because, of course, we had storm, I can't remember her name, but we had a storm coming over England earlier this month, just a couple of weeks ago, and this, I couldn't think of a title, and so I painted it, and then I was looking out the window thinking of a title. I thought, well, I'll just name it after exactly what I'm seeing, because I look out my window and I see the garden and there's a storm. Gardens in a Storm. Next painting. Yes, this one is called Old Men with Big Houses Really Ought to Stop Telling Me What to Do. Paint on the same day. The title isn't referring to any particular authority, it's just really authority in general that irritates me. I did a Howard Hodgkin border. The overall painting itself isn't inspired by Howard Hodgkin. For those of you who don't know, Howard Hodgkin is an abstract painter, or was an abstract painter. You should Google him, he was very good and probably one of my favourites. The actual painting in the middle isn't inspired by him, it's just... I always find that adding this kind of border that he always used to add, or at least most of the time he would add one, it just really seems to complete it. Especially if you make it a colour which contrasts with the inner, so there's a lot of blues and greens in the painting, and so of course a red contrasts both with blue and green very well. It's on the opposite side of the colour wheel to green, and because we very often associate red and blue as being opposite, even though, like, from colour and paint, and technically, like, scientifically speaking, what you see with your eye, they're actually not completely opposed. But because we often, you know, we have hot and cold taps, the hot tap is red, the cold tap is blue, we have this sort of association, and so red is, it contrasts just as well with green and blue, and so there's a lot of green and blue in the painting, so a red border was an obvious choice. Which is why I chose a red border. The next painting is... this is a series of paintings depicting the states of matter, solid, liquid, and gas. This is and it's maroon on lemon, because those are the colours. This is a maroon. It looks brown, but that's because my camera isn't particularly good. But it gets the job done. It takes photos, and that's all you really need. And I can manipulate the colours, and I do, in post to try and get it to look as like the actual thing. I always, like, when I'm editing the photo of the picture, I always have the real painting next to it, just so I can try and get it as close as possible. So this is maroon, this is solid, and the way I got this texture is because it was originally, I was trying to get like a solid maroon square. but I couldn't get it right, and so I just thought I'd mop that up, and to mop it up I put a paper towel over the top of it to sort of soak it up, and when I took the paper towel off it left this pattern behind, and I thought it looked really cool, and so I just let it dry. So that's solid, and as you can see it's just a very structured thing, which is what solid actually is, at the atomic level. It's that really. The next one is liquid, and this is just 3, and also they're all doing very different painting styles as well. This one is just these 3 big brush marks, which is also like liquid is actually in at the atomic level, because what it is, it's different layers sliding over each other. That's how liquid works. And so these are the layers sliding over each other. And then the final one, gas, is again completely different painting style. This is the Jackson Pollock type thing, except whereas he'd cover the entire canvas and really put layer upon layer upon layer upon layer upon layer, so that most of the time with a finished Jackson Pollock you probably can't even see the actual canvas. He's put that many layers of drips on. I just put 1 layer of drips, and it looks almost black here, but it is still that maroon colour. It's just very dark. And that's gas, which gas follows no rules, it just goes wherever it wants to go. And so that's that. And then I did a couple of pictures of them on the wall, because I had I've been planning these 3 paintings, this triptych, for a long time, but I just never got around to actually doing it. But I have now, obviously, as you can see, and I painted these on the 21st, and they're all there, nicely hung on the wall. Next painting, number 13, painted from the 21st to the 22nd of February. I like this one. This one I tried to do, again, quite similar to, I think it's called 7th Conquest, where I try to, because I always end up doing my paintings in like 10 minutes, and I want to take more time with them, but I end up liking something I've done really early on, and I don't want to lose it, and so I just have that as being a finished painting. And even though it can still be a really good painting, I always feel like I haven't worked on it enough, because I've only worked on it for like 10 minutes or so. And so with this one, I purposely started the painting with a load of colours that I don't like. So I started with a load of browns and oranges in the background, which you can see, around the corners, and then slowly started to add more colours that I actually like, which to really ensure that I wouldn't like anything early on. And so I do all this scrapey and stuff, and really and have it soak into the canvas really early on, and then I start adding thicker layers of paint, building up to these final layers, and then these swirly white bits there, and this paint is actually so thick that you can actually, on this bottom one here, you can actually see the shadow underneath the paint. That's how thickly it's sticking off the canvas. It's sticking like 2 millimeters off it's really thick paint, that. But yeah, I really like that one. That's one of my favourites I've done this month. Next, experiments with white number 2. Now, experiments with white number 1 isn't actually on DeviantArt, but I will get a picture of it if you just allow me to transition back, because I have it on my. No, I think I can. Well, I'll just be safe. Don't want you guys to see anything. You shouldn't. Here it is. This is my, it's a public Instagram. I don't really use it anymore, because I have better places to share my art now, like DeviantArt. But I used to use Instagram. This is experiments with white number 1, because every artist has their white painting. It's so they don't, but of course it's a very thing, and a thing a lot of people complain about in art is these completely white paintings, because they feel like there's nothing in it, and I kind of agree with that. But I wanted to try some anyway, and so this was the first experiments with white, 2019, 19th of April, so very shortly, only like a couple of weeks after my birthday on that year, I did this, and you can not really see it that much in the picture here, because it's not very good, but there are different shades of white. I'd really mix a lot of white with a tiny little bit of the colour. So there's like an orange, and there's some red, pink, and like blues and greens and stuff, and yellows. But it's very subtly done. And then this latest experiments with white is just it's completely white. There's no different shades. It looks like there are because of the really warm light, and then I tried to fix it in post and didn't really succeed, so you can see. But it's all just one shade. But of course, the experiments in this one are all about texture and 3D stuff, like sticking it up off of the canvas. And so I've got some cardboard and some string and another big bit of cardboard and some plastic wrap. Now these two bits here, these two bits of plastic wrap, were actually the plastic that this very canvas was wrapped in. I thought, well, I might as well use it. And then this little bit down here is some tin foil. And I do think it's a good thing, which every artist should try to do, is try to do a couple of white paintings and see what you can do, because it really forces you to, you know, bring art back to basics. Because if you have all these colours at your disposal, you might sort of overuse it. And so if you don't have that as an option, you have to focus in on other things like texture and very subtle shades of white. So I advise any, not just abstract artists, although I don't think it would really work in any other style of art, so I suppose it would really have to be abstract. But not specifically abstract art, it's just all artists should try a white painting just to see exactly what, you know, your personal spin on the idea of a white painting would be. And this is the second of my two of those things, painted from the 22nd to the 23rd of February. Another one of my favourites that I've done this month. And now, this is the first of a series. This is inspired. Now, I say inspired by the paintings of Agnes Martin, but really, it's inspired by the guy from MoMA trying to make an Agnes Martin painting. She never did anything like this. But I really like this one. This is grid 1. And I do it by, I measure out the, well, you can see it in that video. Just go to the Museum of Modern Art YouTube channel and type in how to paint like Agnes Martin, and there's a video of this guy doing it, and he doesn't actually do it like she did. He sort of does his interpretation of it. And these, I've done 4 of them so far, but these 4 grid paintings are my interpretation of his interpretation of an Agnes Martin painting. So this is grid 1, which is white on red. Grid 2, 23rd, is red on white. Grid 3, again 23rd, is blue on a lighter blue. And the final one, which is at the moment, this is 24th, at the moment, possibly my favourite painting I've ever made. I really like it. I don't know why, it's so simple, and I can literally, I stare into it. It doesn't feel like I've painted it. It feels like it's more than me. For some reason, I don't know why. It's just, I suppose it's just because it's so, it's like, it feels like it's sort of infinitely sort of deep. Not deep as in, oh, I'm 14 and this is deep. I mean deep as in literally like depth wise, like I can actually look into the painting like it's a window or something. And so I really like it, and it's purple on white, because this is a really big, well, not a really big canvas, but a pretty big canvas. Bigger than I usually paint on, although I have painted on even bigger paintings, like for instance that one. That canvas is enormous. But yeah, so you know, but this is that, and I like it. Grid 4. There we are. The next painting. This one is my response to the happenings in Ukraine. Now, I already knew a little bit about it. I knew stuff was starting to kick off. But this didn't start out as a painting. This started out as a happier painting. You can see this purple back here, which is a much happier colour. And then while I was painting it, my brother came down and told me about how Putin has decided to bomb a nursery. And I thought, well, now I definitely know what this painting is going to be about. And so I did this. And there's these very sort of nasty brown, sick colours down here, really thickly applied, sort of like vomit. And then you've got the blood of some innocent children there. And maybe this this happier colour of purple is now more of a sort of a memory. It's like, look how happy we used to be, and now it's all dark and sick and dead. And so that's it's a very nice painting, isn't it? And that's the 25th of February. The next painting, green monochromatic, is again part of a series. This is the 26th. And this one is, again, the other two in the series aren't on this place. But the first one was on also the 19th, or the 18th to the 19th of 2019. This is red monochromatic, which was actually made by, I was doing another painting and I just took this smaller canvas and put it on that canvas, and that's really all. I don't know why it took me 2 days to paint. That's probably not correct, but whatever. That's that. And then the second in the series was this one, which was done a few days later on the 23rd of April 2019. This is blue monochromatic. And so that's, that's that. And then I've done another, which is green monochromatic, because I was like, this is another thing painters should do. Because as I wanted to say, like, stretch out just the colour white as much as you can. Stretching out one colour can give you a lot more freedom, because you can have different shades. You can have different shades of white, but you can only push it so far before it stops being white. Like in experiments with white 1, if I had pushed those shades of white any further to being towards any colour, they'd have stopped being white. And this, you have a lot more freedom. Like, all these are all greens here. Everything you see in this picture is a green. You have very, very light greens, you have very, very dark greens, you have greens so dark that the camera thinks it's seeing red, but again, that's just the lighting and me trying to fix it in post and it not really working out. But trust me, everything here is green. And then you have this completely different shade of green up here to the rest of it. And again, paint applied differently. Paint applied really thinly over here, and then paint applied really thickly over here, and then paint sort of blended from light to dark over here. So again, this is also one of my favourites I've done in this month. I'm also wearing a green blazer as well. So that's green monochromatic. Did I say the date? 26th probably, but let's move on. Ah yeah, actually that's my most recent painting that I've done. Or at least that you guys have seen. Or at least can see at the moment. So yeah, that's that. I did a couple of experiments on the same day I did the massacre, which is this one. I did a thing where I poured a load of water on the a load of really wet paints on the canvas, and I painted it on the 25th, and today on the 28th it's still wet. It's still drying. I don't know if I magically created oil paint out of acrylic paint, but I must have done, because it's still wet. So that one, but that wasn't. I am going to do more on top of that one after it's dried in a year. But yeah, that's all of the paintings I have done this month. So the next thing I talk about, last month. Have I done anything else this month? I don't think so. So my plans for next month, this may not surprise a lot of you, but I don't have many. I really just go with the flow. I really don't have many plans. I'll probably do some more paintings, I would imagine. Although I haven't done them for a couple of days, because I spent yesterday hanging some of the paintings that I'd already done, and so I didn't really have time to paint them. And today I've really just been being a little lazy bottom and just sat around here doing nothing. So, that's really. So I don't really know what I'm gonna do, but as I said, I imagine I'll probably do some more paintings. I may even start working on a sculpture I've been planning for ages, and it's because now the bits of the sculpture are actually starting to take up room in the doorway, and I can't get out of my room without knocking them. And because they're Coke bottles, they just keep rolling down each other, and in the middle of the night, because they're resting against the side of my bed, when I get in the bed, because it's a high bed and it's all these really long legs, so I get on it and it wobbles and they all fall over, and it's really annoying. And I trip over them in the morning because I've forgotten that I've put them there. But once I'm comfortable in bed and they've all fallen over, I'm not getting up to put them back when I'm just going to be asleep. So I leave them, and then once I wake up in the morning, I forget and I trip over the bottles. So yeah, it's good, isn't it? So that's that. I think I also I also did an album as well, Moid 8. The 8th Moid album, 2349. I'm quite happy with it. There's some more experimental stuff on it. Well, I mean, it's always experimental, isn't it? What am I saying? I recently got a comment on it which I didn't understand, so I just asked him what, and they haven't replied, although they did like the comment, which is pretty weird. But yeah, there's a few. The first song, Dynamite, is I should probably have it so you can actually see what I'm talking about. I know you can't because it's up there. Oh no, bring it down. Bring it down here. So as you can see, this is the first link in the description. Just go and see it, really. But I've done there's a few songs in this. Dynamite is a clever title because I swapped the I and the Y. Epic. 2349 is named after the 2 presets on the synthesizer that I used to make it. Preset 23, which is acoustic guitar, and preset 49, which is strings 2. Fuzzy warbles is what they call the NADSAT word for vinyl record. And NADSAT is the language Anthony Burgess made up for A Clockwork Orange, which is my favourite film. I haven't read the book though. I'll get around to it eventually. Affected bass is called so because it's just the same bass line repeated throughout the entire song, and each section I apply a different effect to it. C major is me going through every single C major chord on the synthesizer through every single preset, and there's 100 presets. So that's why it's 11 minutes long. Epilogue Part 1 is a sort of a more atmospheric kind of thing. Zero Painkiller isn't, and Epilogue Part 2 isn't either. It's just a very short little thing. But yeah, that's that. I'm quite happy with that album. I don't think it's the best I've done, but it's it's good enough. Next, films and new in brackets TV shows I've watched over the last month. So this month's a couple of these things I talked about in the last weekly update, so I won't talk about them here, and that is the first episode of season 25 of South Park and the Jimmy Carr Netflix special His Dark Material. I talked about them in the last weekly update, so I'm going to skip them here. Although I still got them listed here because I did watch them this month. So I'll start with the second episode of the 25th series of South Park, The Big Fix. For me, I didn't like it. It was really just one joke repeated throughout the entire episode. Because it's like, oh look, we've changed this character's name. And that was the entire joke for the entire episode. And it's just not. I don't know if it was parodying a specific thing. If it was, I might find it more funny. But just as a standalone thing, and that seems to be what this series is going for. It seems to be going back to the old tradition of having each episode be a sort of standalone thing with maybe very occasional bits of current affairs, but it seems to be mostly be a standalone thing. And as a standalone thing, this episode is crap. So yeah, which was really a shame because the first episode was really good. But then this one happens and it's like, Anyway, so then we have the third episode of the 25th season of South Park, City People. I can't remember much about it, but I remember at the time I did enjoy it a lot more than the last one. So that's that. And then I watched It'll Be Alright on the Night and It'll Be Alright on the Night 2 from 1977 and 1979, which are basically it's basically an outtake clip show, but really the first outtake clip show. And yeah, it's alright. I don't really know what else to say about it. So then albums I've listened to. I started going on a sort of a trip through Paul McCartney's discography. Starting with McCartney from 1970, and rather than just telling you, because I can't remember most of them, although I do know that Silly Love Songs from Wings at the Speed of Sound is probably my favourite song at the moment, simply because of the bass. I can't play you any of it here, but the bass in that song is so good. Just listen to it. Just Wings, like Silly Love Songs by Wings. It's so good, the bass, and it's played by Paul himself, which is of course very good. But I did the same thing I did with the Talking Heads, where I rank them, and so I'll just go through all of them. I'll just show you, because I can't remember much about them, because it's a bit, I put the journey on pause a little bit. So I'll just I made another Excel sheet, and I'll sort of show you through it really, and show you what I've got so far of it. So McCartney 1970 is a 6.1 out of 10. Ram from 1971 is a 7.2 out of 10. Wildlife by Wings is a 6 out of 10. Red Rose Speedway is a 6.8 out of 10. Band on the Run is 6.5 out of 10. And Venus on Mars 7.0 out of 10. And Wings at the Speed of Sound is 6.6 out of 10. There we are. And that's all that stuff. Now the fun bit, which is looking at the BBC News website, BBC News YouTube channel, CNN website, and CNN YouTube channel, and making fun of everything they say. So let's get those ready down here. And transition. So we'll start with BBC News website. Of course, loads of stuff happening in Ukraine. Because Putin is I can't really think of a word to describe him, because I think all of the insults in the world aren't really good enough. So I don't really know what to describe him as, but I mean, you only really have to look at his stupid face to see, you know. But yeah, that's that really. So I'm just going to ignore all this Ukraine business, which is going to be trouble, because you know how these news websites like to milk as much out. Even when small things happen, they milk them out as much as possible. So this is a big thing. So I imagine most of these are actually going to be yeah, no. Now this is one thing that I saw which I actually don't agree with, because a lot of sports teams and stuff or sports bodies are not allowing Russian athletes to perform in events, and for me that doesn't make sense, because they haven't done anything. The Russian people haven't done anything. The Russian government, yeah, if Putin wants to come and perform in the Olympics, well, I'd suggest you take the opportunity to kill him. But you know, he'll probably just give you a phone call, and unfortunately you can't really kill someone over the phone, unless you play like a really loud noise and they have a heart condition. But he seems like a pretty healthy man, unfortunately. So you know, but that it's stupid to not allow Russian athletes because they haven't done anything. If they specifically say they support what's going on, then yeah, don't let them in. They're arses. But if they're just people, they haven't done anything. So that's stupid. Da da da. Da da da. Da da da. Da da da. Doopy doo doo pa doo doo. Doopy doo 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 doo. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Would Putin press the nuclear button? Probably. He's an idiot, isn't he? Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do, and then a load of sport crap. So that's that. Oh, Stephen Fry. That's that. That's BBC News website now. BBC News YouTube channel. I'm starting a month ago. All of this says it's recent, but it's actually around the 1st of February. This, yeah. So I'll just go through some of these. Some of these I will have already talked about, but you know, whatever. How far will the West go for Ukraine? Not very far, seemingly. The illegal Brazilian gold you may be wearing. Nope. Da, da, da. Da, da, da. Da, da, da. Da, da, da. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. What? Electrical spinal implant helps paralyzed man have child. What? I mean, surely he didn't need to stand to have a child. Could he not just sit there and have someone do? Anyway, again, what is this? Why are people just commenting gibberish in my chat? I do not speak this, whatever it is. The Jews dressing as Muslims to get around prayer ban. That's dangerous. I wouldn't risk it if I were you. Because if they find you, if they figure you out, you'll be in trouble. I mean, they just have to ask you a few questions, and if you get the questions wrong, your head will be strucketh from your neck. Biggest moments from Brit Awards. No one cares. French President Macron has assurances Russia will not escalate Ukraine crisis. Let's see what the people in the comments have to say about that. Because it seems his prediction went a little bit wrong. Yeah. Wow. Um. Do 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 do. Major breakthrough on nuclear fusion energy. Good, I guess. I still can't believe she actually has that name. This woman. That is. That's Dave Williams. That is. That's incredible. Change your name, woman. God. Concerns the Queen's health. Yeah, like the Queen is gonna die. These people. Although I suppose the BBC does have to keep up the illusion that she's actually immortal. Australia lists koalas as endangered species. Okay. Then. The painting stolen by the Nazis. I don't see what the Nazis would. Don't see why they're. Whatever. Bloop bloop bloop. God, he's a miserable looking dude, isn't he? Will Russia actually invade Ukraine? Yes. How to avoid making mistakes with your money. Don't spend it on crap. Whatever. Russia does not want war, Putin says. But you did though, didn't you? Because if you didn't want a war, you wouldn't have started a war, you idiot. Again, idiot isn't as effective. I mean, even retard is subtle when it comes to him. I can't think of a strong enough word to describe him that I can say when my parents are in the house. How will Prince Andrew afford the settlement? Well, he's part of the royal family. He has money. What stupid question is that? Scotland's Gender Recognition Act. Shut up. This whole Queen testing positive for COVID, it's clearly just a front to make us believe she's more immortal. It doesn't matter. We know you're immortal, Elizabeth. And if I may call you that, which I can, it's a free country. Well, it is as far as this conversation. I'm going to call you Elizabeth. We all know that you're immortal, and it's cool. We think it's cool. You should just be open about your immortality. You silly person. This is one. I've just read this. This is one of the stupidest titles I've ever read. Billionaires, are they part of the world's inequality problem or the solution? I don't know. What a stupid thing to say. Are these people seriously suggesting that they might be part of the solution? Seriously? Really? Is that what they just said? Yes, they are part of the problem. If there wasn't an inequality problem, billionaires wouldn't even exist. The only way you can have a billionaire is if there are also a load of poor people. If you spread all the money in the world completely evenly, there won't be any billionaires. So, yes, they are. The sign that billionaires are a thing we have is proof that the world is not equal. So what a stupid question. Jesus. Colombia decriminalizes abortions. Oh, great. Look at them. Look at them partying. Yay, we can finally kill our children. Woohoo! 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 I'm commenting. Big fat dislike that. Great. Metaverse app allows kids into virtual strip clubs. I don't see a problem with this. Joking, obviously. Right. Do do ba ba dee 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 doo doo. Da do. Da do. Da do. Do do. Do do. Do do. Do do. Do do. Do 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 do. Do do do. Do do do. Do do do. Do 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 do. Do do do. Do do do. Bum 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 bum. Bum bum. Oh, I want to watch this. I love this. Do 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 do. That's BBC News. Now we're going to CNN. Now I don't think I've ever actually been on the CNN website, ever. So, but then again, I was never on the BBC website before I started doing these. It's laid out pretty similar to the BBC one. Alright, see this. This annoys me. And it's the same thing that annoys me when people refer to black people in America as African American. There's nothing African about them. There's nothing Asian about this woman. It really annoys me. If you're African American, I've said this before, but if you're African American, that means you were born in Africa and moved to America, or born in America and moved to Africa. I don't think it matters which order. I think you just put them in the nicest order. And African American sounds better than American African, and so I think you're African American either way. But if you are born in America, you are just American, unless you move to Africa. If you are born in America and live in America, you are American, right? And it really annoys me. Because the majority of people, black people, in America, not only call themselves African American, but other people refer to them as African American. Why? They're not African American, so stop calling them that. It's like the phrase "black people" is racist, but African American isn't. It's the opposite of that. I think you find African American is racist because there's nothing African about them. I'd love to bring that up to one of these people. I'd love to bring it up because I'm like, why do you call them African American? What's African about them? Because then they will not have an answer. Because if they say, well, it's because they're black. So are you attempting to say that only all black people come from Africa? What are you, some kind of racist? And they'd literally explode. So I cannot wait until I get the opportunity to say that to one of them. That's going to be incredibly fun. Wow, that's literally the website. This is the website. It's the tiniest little website in the world. Is it some of these things? Is this what we're meant to be looking at instead? Let's look at these. Let's see. Right. No, these are they're quite boring, really, aren't they? Not much is going on. Oh well. What the hell is this? What is this? Fair enough. Yeah, there really isn't much going on here. Oh, there's stuff here. But I think this is just... I don't know, this is stuff. Yeah, this is... Oh, that's CNN. Can't be really bothered with anything else. US politics. Oh, there's such crap in it. CNN YouTube channel. Right. A lot of stuff about Trump, because they're obsessed with him, aren't they? Well, the world seems to be obsessed with him. He's an idiot. And the fact that people actually think he was a good president is genuinely hilarious. It's not scary. A lot of people would find it scary, and I probably would if I cared about anything. But I don't anymore, so I just think it's funny. And it makes me feel a lot more intelligent as well. Whether I actually am or not, I don't know. But nonetheless, you know. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. What? I literally, I'm very confused. I suppose that's the point. Horrible terrorist leader is no more. No, no, Joe, you're still alive. Unfortunately. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Oh, that's the guy who was in Airplane. Okay. Na 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 na. This is so boring. Nothing is happening. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. What is this even? I don't even know. They're finding bodies in the water. They're finding bodies. Is that what's going on? Or just somber discovery? I'm just gonna assume that they've found some dead bodies under there. I'm just my guess. Can't bother to watch the bloody thing. Do. Trump was the worst president America has ever had. He's up there as far as worst presidents. He's definitely the most dangerous. I mean, he did nearly kill everyone. So, you know, he's up there, but You know. High school student attacked in tweet. You can't be attacked by a tweet. People need to grow up. It's some words on a screen. It doesn't mean anything. That's exactly what these things are. You see all these? These are words on a screen. It doesn't mean any of them are true. Didn't mean anything. Doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. None of these things matter. None of these things matter. I don't even know who this woman is. Liz Cheney. Who are you? 2022 Oscar nominations announced. Luca better be one of them. Literally the only good film which came out last year. Come on. No. Didn't think. Can't be surprised, to be honest. It's a shame, though. Because it was actually a good film. And, my god, nothing. I'm trying to read it. What hour? 12-year-old swimmer nearly disqualified. Okay, well these things do different things. Disqualified, nearly disqualified. Good. Because it's not about politics. It's about swimming. You idiot. Boo boo blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah. Me 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 me. Me 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 me. Me 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 me. Me 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 me. Me 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 me. Me 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 me. Me me. Me 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 me. Me 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 me. 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 Me 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 me. Me 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 me. Me me me. Me 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 me. Me 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 me. Me 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 me. Me 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 me. Me 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 me. Me 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 me. Me 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 me. Me me me. Me 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 me. Me 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 me. Me 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 me. Me, 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 me. What is this? Yeah, this keeps happening as well. Police arresting children. I mean, that shows you how weak these people are. They can't arrest real people, and so they have to spend their time bullying children. It's pathetic. These people are pathetic. This woman, she's pathetic. This guy, he's pathetic. These people are pathetic. So else is pathetic. These lot are pathetic. This woman's pathetic. These people are pathetic. These people are pathetic. Look, I mean, this guy, look. Oh, come on, where was it? This guy can't even arrest a child. This guy can't even arrest a child. This guy is so weak, he can't even arrest a child. He has to arrest a dummy. This is why if I ever have a kid, they certainly ain't going to school. Jesus. God, people are obsessed with Sarah Palin. She isn't anything. Why are people even... God, this is so boring. Nothing's happening. Nothing is happening. Nothing is happening. Nothing is happening. Happening. Why me. Okay, nothing, no, yeah, right. So that's that. And finally answering any questions. Now, no one's actually watching, and so by extension, no one has any questions. And so, oh, sorry, I meant to do that. So I'm just gonna say, seeing this was a much longer video, and it feels like it's worth more, you know. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this. It is a shame that the very first one had to be on February, and because now it's gonna be all uneven, rather than number 1 being on January and number 2 being on February and so on. It's just I didn't think I was gonna do it until I just decided to do it. So that's, you know, it's a shame, but it doesn't really matter. So I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you have, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next thing that I do. Wiggles head to show goodbye-ness.